Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Figs Outside. So, I'm going to be doing a little video on mounting my Leupold VX3i 4.5 to 14x40 CDS ZL Winplex scope onto my my new toy. It's going to be it's nice and light. It's going to be my little backcountry hunting rifle. And with that Leupold, got the Leupold backcountry cross slot rings, got the Arisaka scope mounting, and also the Wheeler bat wrench, the firearm accurizing torque wrench. So we're going to be mounting this all together. So let's go ahead and get to it. I'll probably have to make some adjustments. This is the Ruger American Go Wild. It's the 6.5 Creedmoor. Can't wait to get out and shoot this rifle. It's a drop box mag. There it is. So anyway, chamber's clear, and so here we go. I'm gonna be those. And so it says, and so for the Leupold 30mm rings, it gives you the torquing sequence. So be sure to follow that, and that way you get the get everything set and dialed in just right and according to the company specs. So I'm gonna go ahead and get these mounted up. I'm gonna get my scope set in there. That way I could adjust it for my eye relief, and then we'll continue on with the mounting sequence. All right, guys. So got that set up for my eye relief, and so what I use the Permatex, or any type of thread locker, but I use the blue. Don't use the red. I find that green is just it doesn't hold as well, so I usually use the blue. Just add a little bit there on the threads. This is the gel stuff. I kind of like it. It's less messy. Get those. Let those sit for a minute. Don't really need to use a lot. A little much on that one. And so when I do my rings, I like to keep them mounted to the same the ring tops to the same ring base that they came with. I don't like to just put the screws down. I like to keep everything just the way it came from the factory. That's just me personally, but anyway. So I'm going to let those sit for a minute, and then we'll get back to it. All right, here we go. So we got those ready to be put on there, and we're not going to tighten these down all the way just yet, because I want to get the scope leveled. That's a big thing. And so I'm just going to get these somewhat snug with the supplied Torx wrench from Leupold. It came with the rings. Getting those set in there, just like so. Because I want to get the scope level with the Arisaka set. I did a video on just that piece by itself also, in case you haven't caught that. You should check out my other videos if you haven't. Alright. So I'll show you real quick this Arisaka set, real quick. Yeah. Okay. All right, so there it is. That's the ArisakaDefense.com. It's their scope leveling tool, or their scope leveling kit. It comes with 2 ramps, one for high and one for low and mediums. And this here's the wedge that it sits on, and so it'll mount up to the picatiny or the Weaver style single piece base. Oops, stupid fly. And anyway, so you want to use the ramp on this part. It's beveled upward, and so what that does is it levels the top out. And this is what, as you're pushing this into the scope, that is what gets this level, and you want to do it right underneath the turret cluster there. It's kind of a, and it just sits on there just like that. I take this, I mean, this works pretty good. You can tilt the scope up a little bit or whichever, and you just kind of want to, make sure I got this, and then you just slide that, and I don't know if you guys saw that. So there it is. It's definitely tilted up, canted. You can watch it move. I'm going to slide this in there. Boop. And it'll sit perfectly flush and level. And that gets your weapon squared. It doesn't even matter if your weapon's canted over this way or that way or up and down. It's mounted perfectly flush because the bottom of this turret cluster is perfectly flat and beveled with the crosshairs, and with the picatiny or the Weaver style base gets everything squared perfectly with your rifle. I know a lot of guys that have they didn't believe it, and they double checked it with their bubble levels and all that stuff, and they were blown away. This tool, I think it's like 30 bucks, you know, is so much quicker when you have this style of base. It just makes life a lot easier. So anyway, there it is, nice and perfectly level. I'm going to tighten these down just a little bit so we don't move anything. So that is kind of the torquing sequence that I'm going to be doing. So it'll be the top, diagonally, up one, get those snug, and then back to this other one. So that'll be the torquing sequence that I'm going to use. These are going to be torqued down to 28 pounds. That should be nice and square and level there. I'll be right back. So, got the Wheeler fat wrench all adjusted. It is set right there for 28 pounds. Each one of those little marks, and there's 5 pounds. This is how you dial it in. You pull that, and it moves that up and down for the torque. So, there. Get that out of there. Put that in there nice and easy. Just getting these tightened down a little bit more before we finally torque it down. I always just kind of like to make sure they're more even. Side to side. The gaps, and that's just me, and the gaps in between the rings and bases, that's kind of my thing. I don't know, I like to make sure they're as even as possible. I like everything to be as square as possible. I'm not getting all crazy and checking it with a micrometer or anything like that. I just do it by eye. All right, so here we go. I'm gonna start the torquing sequence. So with this, it kind of breaks nice and crisp. Let's see if we can put this up. should click over pretty good. These things usually kind of feels like you break something when these wrenches. Turn this down a little more. Kind of a long process here for recording. Oh, that one broke. So, it didn't break. Excuse me. Yeah, don't get worried. It did not break. It torqued to the spec. So, twist, twist, twist. There it goes. So remember when it started this one, we're going to this one now. There it goes. Go to the top one. There we go. Double check this one. There we go. There's that one. There's that. There it is. And that's how it's done. So, pretty quick and easy. Thanks for hanging out with me and going through that little process. Kind of boring to watch, but anyway, there it is. Got my Loophole VX3 30mm with the 4.5 to 14 by 40 mounted to my Ruger American Go Wild 6.5 Creedmoor. So actually finally got a little time, and today we'll be going and breaking it in. Should get some footage of that, and yeah, we'll move on from there. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for watching. If this video helped you out, if you like this video at all, please hit that thumbs up button and subscribe. Have a good day.